Whoa, hello. Welcome to Truth Talks, where the Bible is our foundation. Yes, I am not in my office right now. I'm headed there. But I had to babysit my friend's dogs and house. So I am headed home now. So it will be I'm gonna talk to you because I know the topic I'm gonna talk about, but I'm just not gonna be in the office it'll take me probably about 10 minutes to get to the house. But we can talk, and hopefully I can see when someone jumps on. So I am starting early. Well, just a minute early. That's early to me. So I'm gonna try to see if someone jumps on, if I can notice it or not. If not, I'll just start talking and hope that someone is in the room. But that being said, welcome. I'm gonna give you. Matter of fact, this is what I'll do. I'll talk about the what do I always call it? All the data and stuff. I'll talk about that while I drive. That way, by the time I get home, we'll be ready to dive all the way in. Okay. For starters, I am, please go to my YouTube page. And this is going to be very important for you guys. I'm trying to tell you now. Go to my YouTube page, Sir Charles 88, Truth Talks, and get subscribed. And go to my either playlist or podcast. Either one. It'll have all my library of topics down. Why is this so important? Because I will be traveling and I'm headed back home probably at the beginning of next week or even this weekend. When I say we're headed back home is a lot of you guys know I'm from Arkansas, a town called Blytheville, just north of Memphis, Tennessee. And I am moving back to Blytheville for a few months. So if it be a couple of days that I'm kind of off a little bit, I have to set my office up and everything like that. So, we might be doing what I'm doing right now. Just jump online, no matter what I'm doing. Take a break from working on the house, or I may be traveling back and forth to Memphis, often, and so I might be doing this phone situation. But everything will be ironed out, within a month, hopefully. But until then, you guys just come on in the room. I hate I'm not in the office right now because I can see if anyone scrolling through and things like that. Sometimes. But it feels weird. There you go. Oh, no, that's not. Okay. All right. So that being said, I got paid attention to the traffic. And it's jammed. I ought to show you, it is backed all the way up. So luckily I know these back roads. So that's the thing. I said, go on my YouTube, get ready to start one of the interesting topics so what I want to talk about today, I'm just gonna kind of do your overview right now. I'm not gonna dive all the way in it until I get to the house. But when friends and family forsake you, that's what I want to talk about today. When friends and family forsake you. it will happen, and sometimes not even intentional. Sometimes you can feel like they forsook you or just left you, you know. And I mean left you, but I mean they may have passed on, you know. But sometimes it's leaving you. I remember it was real hard for me to first come to Texas, and I wanted my son to come with me right away, but I gotta let him make his own choices, and it took him. I did go down to. I'm glad I know this area. It took him a few months. Then he finally came on down as well. But it was hard for both of us. You know, we both teared up, and it was it was hard. My first time really leaving him that far. You know, so reason I'm bringing this up. I sure did. I didn't go down far enough. But hopefully this traffic will be all right. My gosh. Taking these back roads, man, all this. Oh, okay, I think you guys are back on. All right, so I want to talk about when you feel like friends and family are forsake you, and for whatever reason, it can be hurtful, very hurtful. But the reason why I'm bringing it up because it does happen, it will happen, but I'm trying to show us that we just have to depend on our Creator. You know, God, if He designed us, He knows. I knew I shouldn't took this route. He knows that. He knows He knows every inch of your where you need to walk, how you need to maneuver. You know, and we just need to trust Him. Oh my gosh, come on. We just need to trust Him, you know. And I once again, I do apologize. I didn't make it back to the house in time, but I normally give them their food at a certain time, and I messed around and let time slip away from me. So that's my apologies. My apologies for that. But anyway, so it's a few characters I'm gonna go over today. It's 3 sets of people dealing with friends and family when you feel like they have forsaken you. Okay. The first one I'm gonna discuss is dealing with Abram and Lot. Okay, and you may know him as Abraham. The second set is going to be another one in Genesis I was going to talk about. Who was it? Well, I know another one was in the book of Ruth, with Naomi and Ruth. I got this written down, so I'll hit it. Come on, traffic. I wish I would have learned that back way. All right. So let's talk about Abram, or you know him as Abraham. The reason I say Abram because at this time God hadn't changed his name. So when he went to him, when God went to him and told him, "Oh my gosh, I knew I should have took the other route. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness." Okay, so with God, when He was setting His people aside, He was taking Abraham to begin his lineage of when He's pulling His people away from the world, and He's gonna and the Israelites were going to be the standard to the world. Why is this important? Because first of all, if God want to deal with you, that right there alone is important. Okay, but second of all, reason why I chose Abram and Lot because for starters, God told Abraham to leave his country, to leave his father's household, and then take no one with you. You know, no kin. Leave your kin and leave your father, and come follow me, and I will take you to a new land, and that's where he was going to start the Israelites. Well, when we don't obey the law, it's going to end up being rougher than it's supposed to be. And I mean, I'm just trying to tell you guys to walk with the Lord. You know, I can't stress that more. And because as old as I've gotten, I've just learned, and those who have walked a long time as well, I'm sure you have learned that it's just best to trust and do that. And we try to do things our way, we tend to mess it up. And if you don't believe me, then just keep on living and not learning what thus said the Lord, and see how your life turn out. You're gonna be very frustrated, but God is just, and He'll provide a way of escape from the temptation and the problems that you're trying to go through. And I really hate doing this driving and talking to you guys. It's because I have to be alert, and I don't want to. Of course, don't want to cause an accident, but it really causes me to not be able to really focus. Because when scriptures is dropping in my head, it's kind of hard to stay focused if you're moving around like I'm doing now. And I want to make sure you guys get a good understanding. But I digress. Let's go back. So with Abram, he supposed to left his father's house and all his kindred, but Abram did something I think he should not have done. Is he did take his nephew Lot, and that's where he messed up at. And I show you what I mean by he messed up at, because well, that was smart. And I wish I was there to read the scripture, so I'm just telling you guys everything. So he had cattle, he had some wealth, and Lot had some cattle as well. I believe Abram had sheep, maybe. Yeah, I think sheep, and I think Lot had goats, I believe. And but the bottom line is they both had wealth. You know, they both had cattle. But where they messed up, where Abram messed up, because he took Lot and his cattle, and what ended up happening was the herdsman got into a strife. They got to argue and struggle because of the who's gonna get their animals watered. Okay, so it was a strife between Abram's herdsman and Lot's herdsman, and I'm bringing that up because it was a lot of heartache that came Abram's way, because he did disobey it. He did take Lot with him. And have you ever tried to do something for family members or friends, and it caused you more hurt and harm than it did them? I mean, am I speaking to anybody now? I mean, have y'all done that? I can see y'all on now. Good morning, TT's on. I'm driving right now. I just got through with feeding the dogs and stuff, and heading back home. But on the subject of when your friends and family forsake you, we gotta trust and lean on the Lord. So I'm gonna give you a few examples, and one is with Abram and Lot. So Abram and Lot, it wasn't them two per se, but just the fact that the herdsmen, it was just too much too many cattle, and it caused problems. But I want to bring it up to today's situation. When you always dishing out money, you might be the one that have money over your friends or family, and you want to help them out, or you just like them being around, so you pay for their way a few times, and then they may take advantage of it and expect you to pay their way all the time. People do that. People will do that, and I'm trying to tell you this for you to be careful and seek the Lord in your endeavors. With your family members and your friends. I know I have some great friends and good buddies and stuff that I know I may be more well off than them, but that's up to me if I choose I want to pay their way or not. But don't let it get to the point that they expect you to do it, and now you're finna have some problems and some strife. Some people can take advantage of you because of your goodness, and I try to tell everybody that, look, don't take my meekness for weakness. I just have such a kind heart that I wanna. I like money. I don't care for money and hold on to money and hoard money like some do. It's good to save and things like that, but I like to spend money with my friends. And like I said, I know I might be more well off than them, but so I don't want them to miss out. And plus, it's more fun to be with friends. But you have to be careful with that thing, because people would take advantage of you. And so, the reason why I'm bringing all these things up is because if you notice, all the teachings that I do for you is to help you have a more prosperous life. And prosperous does not always mean monetarily, just peace of mind. And that's something I value the most, is having that peace of mind. So that peace of mind, you need to watch who you hang with. And even with coming to family members can get so comfortable with you and expect you to pay all the time, or expect you to do things all the time, and it doesn't be reciprocated. It's just you putting out, you giving, and they just taking. So I do real talk, okay? But I'm backing up with scriptures. So Abram, being the man he was, Lot was being blessed just because he was with Abram. And then when it got to the point that the herdsmen started arguing and about to fight and things like that, well, Abram said, well, let's do this. We're going to have to separate, okay? And this is the talk they don't really like when they come to you, when you come to them and trying to straighten things out, trying to iron things out. They don't tend not to like that. And I'm pulling up to my place right now. So why don't you guys do this? Go take a coffee break and give me about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Let me get to my office, and I prefer that because I just like watching traffic moving around. I don't care for that too much. I'm not gonna sign off because I don't want some people to come in and then they see nobody's on at all. But I am going to ask you to just hold on while I walk to my office, okay? And I'm gonna hold the phone close to me because you don't need to be seeing all my business. Okay, I'll get that later. All right. All right, so go get your coffee break. Give me 3 minutes, and I'll take the phone away from my body, and then I'll be in my office then. Where are the keys? I know. I do apologize for the inconvenience. I apologize to God first, because I like to be more structured than this. Just give me 2 more minutes. Going straight to my office, and I'm not even gonna turn everything on. I'm just gonna keep talking to you. I need to plug my phone up though, I know that. Okay. Where did I put those notes in? All right. Give me one more second. I'm going to get my notebook. All right. Apologize again, but let's hey, Barry. Dr. Penny is in the room. All right. Glasses. Oh, keep a spare over here. All right. Hey, Kim. All right. I apologize once again. I don't have everything the way I want it, but we're going to jump on it anyway. Let's just leave that like that. Be all right. Okay. So, now, sit down still and pray, then we're going to dive into it. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to make it here this morning, even though it is a uncomfortable situation, but Lord, we still love you, and we're glad that we were able to meet anyway. And pray that that any word that goes forth, that it falls on good ground, Lord, and it allows us to produce much fruit from the knowledge and understanding that the Holy Spirit gives us this morning. And thank you for the safety, and I pray that you cover all the people that are in the sound of my voice, Lord, as they may be driving to work as well. But just protect them on their way, Lord, and allow them to come back home safely and continue to learn your word, so we'll be a better vessel for you in the citizenship of your Most High Kingdom. In the name of Jesus, amen. All right. All right, so now back to, like I said, family. When your friends and family fail you, and like I said, sometimes it's not intentional. It may just be you're so hurt, because I've seen it. I know it. I've had to counsel many people that when they lose a loved one, God has somehow allowed me to deal with death now, and sometimes we even get angry that our loved one have left us, because we were, first of all, probably too dependent on them, but it happens. So, and we're going to talk about Abram and Lot, Hagar and Sarah, and Naomi and Ruth, okay? Of course, we're not going to be able to get to all of them today, but you know how I do is do a little short series. All right, so let's get to, I'm looking for, well, I just have to use a regular Bible. I think I might have left it in the other room. All right, so let's talk about Abram and Lot. Let's go to Genesis 12, chapter 2 through, Genesis 12, verse 2 through 5. I think that's in the Old Testament. Okay, let me see here. All right, we're going old school. We're going to actually use a physical book today. It's kind of worn down, but that's what happens when you use it. And turn these pages. That's why I use my tablet. All right, we're at Genesis 12, verse 2 through 5. Okay, and it reads like this. This is my study Bible, so it's going to read a lot different. Okay. All right. Verse 2. I will cause you to become the father of a great nation. Let me back up to verse 1. Actually, verse 1 through verse 1 through 5. Okay. Then the Lord told Abram, leave your country, your relatives, your father's house. Now you just heard he said leave your relatives, okay? Your father's house and go to the land that I will show you. I will cause you to become the father of a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and I will make you a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you. Verse 4. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed him. So far, so good. But let's keep reading. And Lot went with him. See, God, I've told us so many times, and I'm not through. I'm gonna finish up, but I need to intervene right here. God has told us so many times that we may see down the street, but God sees down the street and around the corner. So he knows what's problematic for you. Even the people that you may have so dear to you, it may not be that season that God is pulling you up and pulling you away from them. It may not be that season for you to hold on to them. Sometimes you just gotta, in the book of Philemon, Onesimus, Paul said Onesimus had to leave for a season, and he left one way. He left as a servant, as a slave, but Paul said, I'm sending him back as a brother. So sometimes it's good just to leave some people alone for a season. I remember when I first got saved, I was so excited and I wanted everyone to be saved. You know that energy you have, you want everyone to be saved, you know. And so I wanted my friends to be saved, but I had just got saved and they were still unsaved. And they wanted to do things still worldly. And I had to come out from amongst them. I had to start drawing back. And because I noticed, I said, I want to talk to you about the word. I want to have Bible study, things like that. But they wasn't in the position ready to hear that. So I had to leave for a season. I had to just leave them alone. But when I came back, I was much stronger in the word. Okay? And I know how to maneuver and, you know, cunning as a fox, but harmless as a dove, you know, type. So sometimes you just got to leave for a season. I remember also when Abram took, Abraham at this time, he was taking his son Isaac up because God told him to take him to the mountaintop, and he wanted him to sacrifice him. And Abram was being obedient, you know, but he didn't go alone. You know, he had two servants, with two donkeys to travel with him and the lad. Well, when they got to the bottom of the mountain, Abraham told the servants to stay here. Stay here with the donkeys. Me and the lad have to go up, okay? But we'll return. And he had that type of faith that he was, you know, God was going to provide, you know, or if I actually allowed him to die, he was, you know, he just had that crazy faith. But anyway, I digress. I bring it up to say he told the servants to stay here because they wouldn't be able to have that faith that he was about to experience up there. If anything, they would try to stop him from sacrificing his son. So sometimes you just got to walk away from people for a season. And so it's more than two sides, but I'm talking about even on two sides of this, when your friends and family fail you. Because like I said, one, they might be intentional, and two, it might be unintentional, okay? And what I mean by that is, some people they take your meekness for weakness, and they try to take advantage of you because you're always shoveling out money, or you're always doing, and you're always giving, but they always take it. They're not reciprocating it back. Okay. So that's the intentional. The unintentional may be when, a loved one leave you. Okay. From, like death, maybe even to death. They just left you, like that, and it was sudden, and it's hard for you to handle that. So I'm doing real talk and trying to help you out there. Understand that you just hold on to God. And cause even God even told us that put your trust in no man. Okay. So lean to the understanding that God first. Okay. And whatever God says, line your life up with that versus what your friends want you to do, what your family wants you to do, or even expecting from you. God, all throughout the Bible, especially study Proverbs. In the book of Proverbs, it talks about you being a good steward over things. And God talks about steward over everything, but even over friendship, you just got to be a good steward over your items, over your money, be a good steward over it, and don't let the friends and family take advantage of you. And I believe God, he teaches me first, and then I learn the lesson, and then I'll turn around and teach you. Sometimes he'll give me something that's what's coming up. Okay. So one thing that's coming up for me is I'm moving back home where there are friends and family. And but I'm hoping that I have matured enough away from them that now I can see clearly. And so if something is being unhealthy, hang around them, I will have to put a halt to that. I know family members, they probably going to want, finances from me every time they see me, want to hit me up. But I have to be a good steward over that. I just can't give just because you won't. So I'm hoping you're learning something. And let me get back to the scriptures to make sure you see what I'm talking about. So we're dealing with Abram and Lot. Okay. So he shouldn't have took Lot because God had just said to leave your kindred, but he took him anyway. And so by him taking him, now there's strife. And that's not the only time, okay? So now let's get to the part where there was strife between them. Let's go to chapter 13. Flip over. Oh, I ain't finished reading. I got one more verse. Verse 5. Now, let's do verse 4 over because I didn't do the whole verse. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, which you know her as Sarah. God changed her name later. His nephew Lot, and his wealth, his livestock, and all the people who had joined his household at Haran, and finally arrived in Canaan. Okay? Now, let's skip over to the next chapter where there's strife. We had chapter 13 now, and we're going to read verse 5 through 9, okay? And tell me if something like this has happened to you. Now, Lot, who was traveling with Abram, was also very wealthy with sheep, cattle, and many tents. But the land could not support both Abram and Lot, with all their flocks and herds living so close together. Man, that right there. Oh, come on now. You guys, you know how difficult it is to live with really anyone, but definitely living with family members. How much we love them. We're like, how long are you supposed to be staying? Hey, man, this is just real talk. So right here, there's having a problem because it's for them living so close together, and it became a problem. I'm continuing on in verse 6. But the land could not support both Abram and Lot with all their flocks and herds living so close together. There were too many animals for the available pasture land. So, in other words, just too many. They had too many mouths. You know, the sheep, the goats, just too many of them to have their fill of the land. They had to spread out. All right. So there were too many animals for the pasture. So an argument broke out between the herdsmen of Abram and Lot. At that time, Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land. So it wasn't just them. So there was a lot of folks in the land, and it was just too much. It was just too many animals for them. Then Abram talked it over with Lot, communicate. That's where we fail at. We just get mad and upset and never speak again. No, communicate. This is what Abram did. So Abram talked it over with Lot. This arguing, this is a quotation, this arguing between our herdsmen has got to stop. He said, after all, we are close relatives. I'll tell you what we'll do. Take your choice of any section of the land you want, and we will separate. If you want that area over there, then I'll stay here. If you want to stay in this area, then I'll move on to another area. All right, so, and it goes on, but what I was going to bring up right there is, don't get to the point that it's such a strife that now you guys may hate each other, or, you don't want to talk anymore. Use some wisdom on that thing. Now, by all means, now everybody's situation is different, and I can understand if every time they're around you and they're combative. Okay, well, in that instance, hey, just keep your tongue. Don't put any bad words on them. Just keep your tongue. And if you have to stay away from them, just stay away from them for peace sake. Okay? Because you don't need to be going to hell because you're being double-tongued. You praising God with your lips, and then you cursing man which made in the image of God. So what you should do is just keep your lips. Keep your tongue. And if y'all can't talk it over like Abram tried to bring Lot, and they just talked about it, and they developed a plan. If you can't develop a plan, then okay, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. But watch your tongue, okay? Because every idle word out your mouth, God gonna deal with you on it, okay? All right. So that was just an example of when you have family members and on the intentional that's trying to take advantage of you. I always want from you because you got. You be a good steward and be careful with that thing, okay? And just remember that God is your source. Everyone else is just a resource, okay? So you look to the hills which come with your help. And so be careful with that thing with your family members. I love them, but you got to be careful not to be taken advantage of. Even friends. I love them because actually my friends is my family member because I was the youngest and the only boy. So I was always with my friends. Okay. But hopefully when I go back this go around, I've been more mature because I've been away for so long, and I can handle it better this go around. Okay, we got time to talk about another set. Let's while we're in Genesis, let's go a little bit further. We're still dealing with Abram, but not so much him directly. We're dealing with his wife Sarah and his concubine, I guess you call it, Hagar. But let me straighten this out before you can get sideways with this before I go any further. Hagar, they had slaves, but not the type of slavery that the African Americans experienced. This slavery was more like the indentured servants that other foreigners that came to America experienced. It wasn't that harsh and treating your slaves like cattle. Okay, This Hagar was a slave, an Egyptian. I believe she was from Egypt. But anyway, she was a servant to Hagar. Really was a servant to Sarah. Okay, so what ended up happening was, okay, I'm trying to keep it nice and neat. I don't want you guys' mind to go left. But Sarah tried to help God out as if he needed help, because we're not as patient as God. And so Sarah wanted, she knew there was supposed to be a promise that Abraham was supposed to have this promised child. So she decided to help God out, and told Abram to go into, which means have sexual relations with her handmaid and have a child that way, because she felt that God had her barren for her whole life. She's never had kids, and now she about 90 years old. So she just tried to help God out, and so Abram he agreed, and he had a child by Hagar, because the way I'm coming with you right now is we're gonna talk about Hagar, okay? And when people forsake you, okay? So Hagar had the child Ishmael, and but this was not the promised child that God had foretold. So later on, God actually told Abraham and Sarah that this time, for the season it takes 9 months for you to have a child. When this time, 9 months from here, you're going to have a child. Sarah is going to have this child, and it came to pass that they had Isaac. Now, once again, just like with earlier between Lot and Abram, Ishmael, and I think Hagar as well. I think if I remember right, they was teasing, bothering, harassing Sarah, and Sarah just said, she ain't gonna have it no more. She got her child now, and she don't want Ishmael picking on Isaac, and she just went and told Abraham, she got to go. She got to go. And of course, that was hard on Abraham, because even though Sarah didn't have that child, it was still his son, but just not the promised child. So it hurted him to obey. I think he consulted God, and God told him to hearken to Sarah's voice, her wishes. So he had to send Hagar and his oldest son Ishmael out of the camp, and he gave them provisions to have, and he sent her on. But God had told Abram that he got him. He's not gonna want for nothing. So when she left, and of course she was sad. If you go and read it, and it's in Genesis 21, and I will read that one verse. I think that 8 through 14. Let's go to that. Genesis 21, verse 8 through 14. Let's see what that talks about. I hope I laid down the foundation, so now when you read it, it's not taking you by surprise what's really going on, because no, that's not the custom that we do, but actually, that's for another conversation. We actually do it, but I'll break it down later on. All right, Genesis 21, verse 9 through 14. All right. I'm going to go back to 8. As time went by and Isaac grew and was weaned, Abraham gave a big party to celebrate the happy occasion. But Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Abraham, and her Egyptian servant Hagar, making fun of Isaac. I told you they was teasing, bothering Isaac. So she turned to Abraham and demanded, get rid of that servant and her son. He is not going to share the family inheritance with my son Isaac. I won't have it. This upset Abraham very much because Ishmael was his son. But God told Abraham, do not be upset over the boy and your servant wife. Do just as Sarah says, for Isaac is the son through whom your descendants will be counted. But I will make a nation of the descendants of Hagar's son, because he also is your son. All right. Now, I'm going to read one more verse. So, verse 14. So Abraham got up early the next morning, prepared food for the journey, and strapped a container of water to Hagar's shoulder. He sent her away with their son, and she walked out into the wilderness of Beersheba, wandering aimlessly. Now, so this part I'm coming from because some of us have felt on the other side of that. You hadn't did anything wrong. Well, they were teasing, but I'm showing you from an example of that you hadn't did anything wrong, and your family or your friends shun you, don't want to have nothing to do with you. Maybe because you are now a child of God, because that really happens. I try to tell people, once you are saved and you give your life to Christ, then understand you're going to lose some friends. You're going to gain a family of spiritual family, but you're going to lose some friends that you've been running in the world with. Because if there's going to be division when one serves God and the other one does not, you're going to have division. And what's going to happen, you mess around and trying to walk a double life, and God does not like that, okay? So, that being said, if you're the one being shunned, don't worry about it. I just told you that God is your source. Everyone else can only be a resource. They're not your source. So, you walk with God, and he'll take care of you, in spite of what your family and friends will do. Because they will fail you, okay? It's going to happen sooner or later. It's just the nature of man, man, the flesh is sinful. It's the spirit man that we have to start walking after, okay? So this is some real talk, and it will happen if it hasn't happened to you already. But just remember to keep your head up and understand that God is your source. And so in this example, Ishmael, we know about the 12 tribes of Israel, which was Jacob down the line. There's Isaac, then there was Jacob, okay? So Jacob had his 12 tribes, so, Isaac was blessed. But Ishmael had his 12 tribes as well. So God still took care of him as well. He provided for him. So don't be feeling too bad about that story. It was sad that they had to separate, but it's going to be sad when you have to separate from your friends and or family members. But just understand that God is your source. Everyone else is just a resource. Don't get too bogged down and saddened. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just hold on to the Lord. All right. Now, I better plug this phone up. So, that being said, I got a few more minutes, so I'm gonna try to squeeze this last one in. That way I can come probably with a whole nother topic, tomorrow. But let's go to the book of Ruth. Because, you know, you've heard me just say about sometimes they leave unintentionally, like in death, and you were so attached to them, and you felt they was your source at that time because you don't understand source and resource, but they was your source, and that shouldn't be, you know. Like when he said, put your trust in no man, hey, put your trust in the Lord, you know. All right, so that being said, let's go to the book of Ruth. I'm going to show you the example of when someone leaves you by death. And I'm going to show you how to just there. Okay, yeah, I had to plug my phone in. Battery's going down. Okay. All right, in the book of Ruth, let's talk about when loved one leaves you through death. And I know there's some out there already, that, well, if not everyone, but they have experienced this. I know I've experienced it twice over, well, 4 times over, really, well, 5, really, just recent. Well, you know, 2 of my children, you know, passed many years ago. And then my sister, my dad died first. My dad died. Shortly after that, my sister died. And even though I wasn't close to all my dad's brothers and sisters, 5 of them, including my dad, 5 of them died in 1 year, in the span of 1 year. 5 of them died. So I understand, but, you know, but I'm sure that's why I'm trying to share with you that God needs to be your source. And that was the sanity. That's how I kept my sanity when both my children died, especially the second one, because I've been with her, you know, for 17 years, you know, and that was very hard to deal with. But it was only because I recognized that God is my source, and I held on to Him. Okay, now let's look at Naomi. I know the book is called Ruth, and Ruth is a part of it, but actually, we're going to talk about Naomi, okay? Naomi. And Ruth just was her daughter-in-law. Okay, where you at, Job? All right. Ruth is going to be chapter 1. We're just going to read the first 5 verses. Okay? All right. In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a man from Bethlehem in Judah left the country because of the severe famine. He took his wife and 2 sons and went to live in the country of Moab. And if you guys, I'm not finna take time about it, Moab, I got time is expiring, but I already talked about who Moab was and stuff, but go back and look at my past notes about that. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife was Naomi. Their 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in the land of Judah. During their stay in Moab, Elimelech died. Her husband died. And Naomi was left with her 2 sons. The 2 sons married Moabite women. One married a woman named Orpah, not Oprah, Orpah. And the other, a woman named Ruth. But about 10 years later, both Mahlon and Chilion died. So now her sons have died. This left Naomi alone, without her husband or sons. Now, if that's not sad, so I'm mentioning this, you know, dealing with when family and friends fail you. Well, this was not intentional. But when you feel that your loved one have left you, that mom that was so involved in your life and kind of, you with her your whole life. You spent so much time. She was your rock. Well, God need to be your rock. And we're just thankful for our parents. Okay? Now, so when, and I went over this in another phrase, another topic, but I talked about Naomi. She was so saddened by this that she felt bitter, and she said, "Don't call me Naomi no more. Call me Mara," which means bitter, and that's how hurt she was. And so she was headed back to her homeland, hoping that she'll find some kin people that remember her, because they've been gone a while, and that will see after her, okay? Because she was an elderly lady, so income was really not going to be flowing in unless she go back to work as an elderly lady. So, but Ruth was there for her, and Ruth went with her, and so if you go and read that story, you'll see how Ruth ended up taking care of Naomi. And then Naomi turned around and taught Ruth of their customs and their ways, and she ended up marrying Boaz. So all we know about Boaz now, okay, that was the situation. Naomi went back, and Ruth went with her because she loved her so much. She was going to take care of her, and she would glean the field and have food for them to eat, okay? But the end of the story, what I'm trying to tell you is God is your source. So God allowed Ruth to be a blessing to Naomi. And so much as a blessing that, Ruth ended up being the great-grandmother of David, King David. Because she had Obed, and Obed had Jesse, and Jesse had David. Okay? So, let God be your source as you walk through this life, and just hold on to him. Tragedy may come, but just hold on to the Lord, and he'll see you through. Okay? Remember, he's your source, and everyone else is just a resource. And so next time that you feel like your friends and family have failed you, if you're too distraught and hurt, it's because you put too much in them. Put your trust in the Lord, and then just be thankful for your friends and family. Okay? All right. So that being said, you guys, thanks for being patient with me this morning. I know it was off the rails of what I normally do, because I apologize. I apologize to God first, but I do apologize to you guys that we kind of missed the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because I was traveling home. All right. So that being said, you guys, just hang in there, hold on to the Lord, and how the song goes, hold on to his unchanging hands. Okay? Just hold on to the Lord, because he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So this is Truth Talks, and once again, you can check me out on YouTube at Sir Charles 88. Just go to Kim Fierber's posting down here, and she gives you all the information from my book to my page to my to everything. Okay, so thank you guys for bearing with me, and I'll see you in the morning. I pray that I'll be better prepared for you in the morning. Y'all take it easy.